question. What is the big question? I mean, most people are just caught up in what is reality. How does one point at the natural state? How does one get someone else to see that one is not this personal effect of the body, but one is actually the substratum of all perception, which is itself consciousness. And when consciousness can isolate itself from phenomena, meaning when consciousness itself, the witness, can discriminate itself as the self from what appears as appearance, as what's happening, then one is enlightened. And this pointing goes on for, there's been pointing going on for thousands of years, and we assume that's what we have to do, and once the answer to that is given, one awakens, and then everything's okay. But we seem to be moving more into a different era now of based on the assumption that everyone knows that there is just this pure awareness, and that this pure awareness is undifferentiated in response to any form that arises, which basically means that whatever mood is arising, whatever thought is arising, does not qualify consciousness itself. Okay, so consciousness itself is permanent. It's indifferentiated, so you can remain as that. Once this is achieved, then it's a case of what's the next question? What's the next question? And the next question then is, how does one remain as that? Because what happens is often there'll be a sense of being pulled into old thinking patterns, old emotional patterns, and the sense that, in old moods, even where there's a real sense self that seems to separate you from being what you are as the natural state, what has actually awakened as that pure awareness. So what do you do? Well, one of the things you can do is do what's suggested in the 12-step program. And one of those steps is what we call step 3. And in step 3, it is we turn our will and life over to a power greater than ourselves. And here in step 3, there's a wonderful distinction between a power greater than self, that's self. To simplify everything, to cut to the chase, to really just get to the core of what that means, it means the self is you that appears. That's the self. Your instinctual, basically, it means your instinctual drive, and how that drive has manifested as a negotiation of that drive. That very thing that creates a sense self. These sense self that's defined by boundaries that define how you get your needs met and stuff like that. How you recognize how others have their needs too, and how we negotiate. This basic bodily drive, this bodily instinct. So that's the self, and then a power greater than that is awareness. So to turn over your will and life over to the power greater than yourself is to literally admit it, that awareness is the root source of your experience. Awareness is the root source of your body that manifests as a self contraction, not the self contraction itself. The self contraction itself is the I that believes it's the experience of the body, but that's not true. When you awaken, the true source of all reality is awareness or consciousness. So really, how does one do that? One does that simply by remaining as awareness and seeing whatever sensation is in the body. If it manifests as a pattern that seems to pull you away into the mind, claiming the experience of the body, that's okay. Just remain as awareness. Don't identify with it, and just realize in that moment that that experience is false, and remain in the real experience of awareness. Over time, this practice allows such patterns that seem to pull you away from your being. Those patterns start to go through dissolution. They start becoming less and less, and your awareness starts becoming more and more. There you go. That's how it is. So enjoy.